Let the Galaxy Burn. Short stories from the 40K universe. Story 1. Words of Blood by Ben Counter.
Brothers, sons of blood, this day we face the final enemy. Some amongst you may believe the blood god has seen fit to test us once more, before we can truly worship him with the sacrifice of 1,000,000 Macarian lives.
The words of blood cut right into their minds, driving them to further heights of bloodlust. The man-skinner had never felt more grateful for the gift of the words. No army, no marine, could stand before men who knew nothing but the joy of carnage.
But the truth, sons of blood, is that such have we pleased him that he has given us yet more skulls to take. And what skulls! The Marines, the scum of humanity, the Imperium's blind machines, are here to die in his name and prove his power to the weak.
The man-skinner raised his remaining arm high, and the crowd around him cheered madly, screaming their insane joy at the battle to come. Many had died in the crash, and still more were wounded, or weak. Their very bloodlust would kill them. Still, they were many. They would charge across the planet's lone city and take the spaceport, and their brothers in orbit would carry them the rest of the journey to Macaria, and on that world of 30 billion souls, his army would die in an orgy of carnage in the name of the Blood God. It was impossible to imagine the numbers that would die, the mindless hordes of the weak put to the sword before the last cultist died. Such would be the pleasure of the Blood God, that he, the man-skinner, would become his chosen and immortal champion, murdering the very stars in his name.
Brothers, he called again over the din, tend to your arms. The Imperial filth will die at the rising of the sun.
The cultists scattered to prepare themselves, to load guns and sharpen blades, scar themselves, and contemplate glorious acts of murder to come. Recoba, once a corporal, now commanding the 4,000 Gathalma rebels, bellowed orders and cracked heads. Kyria, who had joined the man-skinner with over 2,000 men from the Planetary Defense Force on Gurion, was rather more subtle, making sure his men could see his finger on the trigger of his dueling las pistol at all times.
Diaz! Yelled the man-skinner.
The rider galloped up on his jet-black horse. The beast's nostrils were flecked with blood and his eyes bulged, but even this animal was infected by the power of the words of blood. Diaz himself, young and breathlessly eager, sat bolt upright, cavalry sword raised in salute, still wearing his tattered officer's uniform. "Sir, my lord Manskinner."
"Diaz, to you goes the honor of first blood. You and your men will be the first to hit the Marines' position. Hit hard. If you can take some alive, do so. They will provide sport for the rest. If not, let nothing survive."
Even Diaz smiled at this. "Thank you, my lord. This is a glorious day for culture."
"Everyone on culture wants you dead, Diaz. This is a glorious day for the Blood God."
"Sir, yes, sir." Diaz galloped off, infused with that strange joy that only the Blood God could give a man in the moments before battle. The man-skinner could taste his victory on the air. The dry ground of Emprion 9 would run red before the day was out. The first rays of the sun broke around the hulk of the cultist spacecraft. Diaz's horsemen, 300 strong, spurred their mounts into motion as one and thundered across the plain towards the broken obsidian shell of the temple. Many of the foot troops followed them, waving their salvaged weapons and screaming with bloodlust, hoping that when they reached the temple, there would be some Marines left alive for them. Even as the first lasgun shots cut through the air, the man-skinner could feel the Blood God smiling down upon him from his throne of skulls in the warp. Blood keened a familiar voice in his head. "Blood for the Blood God."